So, White Day Scipuli. Welcome back. This is week 1, day 2 of Latin 2. Yesterday you learned about the present subjunctive in all of the conjugational forms. Not just first conjugation like in chapter 1, but in all 4 conjugations in Latin. This is the document you're going to complete today as your assignment. I'm just going to type in here some notes. How do you spot the different present subjunctive forms depending on conjugation? It depends on the conjugation of the verb. So I'm going to put in first, second, third, IO, and fourth to indicate our four-ish conjugations. Each one of these has its own respective stem letter, stem letters, or vowels. We talk about like the BA is the tense sign for the imperfect tense. But with subjunctives, these are the mood sign. That's not a term that you'll see in any grammar book, but that's essentially what it is. So if it's first conjugation and it's a present subjunctive verb, instead of having an A for a stem letter, it's going to have an E. If it's second conjugation, instead of having an E, it's going to be an EA. If it's third conjugation, instead of having an I, it's going to have an A. If it's third IO, it's going to have an IA. And if it's fourth, instead of an I, it's also going to have an IA. Now there's a mnemonic for this that I taught you, and this is my preferred one. I said there are a bunch of them. I always remember it as she wears a giant diamond. So, if you ever hear me say, she wears a giant diamond to try to prompt an answer out of you, what I'm telling you is, it's a present subjunctive. That mnemonic tells you the stem letters or subjunctive vowels in order of conjugation. And so if one of those is present, and it's that verb is that corresponding conjugation, then you know you have a present subjunctive. For the assignment for today, you have a list of 12 verbs, and it says in the instructions, for each subjunctive verb, underline its subjunctive vowels, its stem letter or stem letters. The word subjunctive there might be the most important word in the entire instructions, because what it's telling you is these are already formed as present subjunctives. You don't need to worry about whether they're indicative or if they're future or imperfect or whatever. Every single one of these is a present subjunctive already. Then identify its conjugation and translate it into English. Now, normally there would be a lot of legwork looking stuff up in the back of the book, but if you have the stem letter, subjunctive vowel letter, whatever you want to think of it as, in the word already, you can reverse engineer its conjugation really easily. Then it says translate it into English. All right, number 1. Sinantur is the verb. By the way, when you complete this, you can type it directly into the Word file. You can print this out and write it there. You can do this on a separate sheet of notebook paper and just take a picture of it. You can convert it to a PDF. You can screen cap this and write all the answers in on a touch device like an iPad. I really don't care what the file format is as long as it's done and you upload it. For Sinantur, it says underline its subjunctive vowels. Well, in this case, entur is the ending. I know that because I think about my passive personal endings. R, ris, ter, mer, mini, enter. So it's a third person plural personal ending. So it's going to be what's right before this, the vowel or vowels. In this case, you have an A right before it, and that's the only vowel. So that's going to be my subjunctive vowel. All right, next. Identify its conjugation and translate it in English. All right, if my stem letter subjunctive vowel is an A, normally it would be first conjugation. But in this case, I know it's subjunctive. So it's not going to be first. It's not going to be second. It's got to be third. This is a third conjugation verb. Next it says, translate it into English. I'm already part of the way done with this because I know that the ending, entor, I said it's a third person plural, so it's got to be they. I said it's passive, not active, so it's not going to be they, and sino is to allow. It's not going to be they allow, it's going to be they are allowed, because it's passive voice. But then there's one more thing to consider. These are subjunctive. In chapter 1, you learned that subjunctives, they're either volitive or optative so far. If we assume that it's volitive, which is what a subjunctive verb sitting all by itself would be almost by definition, then you would usually throw in a should. So instead of just they are allowed, how about they should be allowed would be my answer for number 1. If you had no idea what sino is, if you didn't know that it meant to allow, that's why I put in the instructions, use Wiktionary.org. If you go to that website, you can type in sinantor, or you can type in sino if you can figure out what the first principal part is. But if you just type the verb in, it'll figure out what it's from. Click on the Latin section of the Wiktionary page and check it out. Look at number 2. It says parem. I would start at the end and work my way backward. So you have M, that's a personal ending. O or M, S, T, mus, tis, ent. So M is my first person singular ending. What vowel or vowels come right before it? Well, there's only one, E. So I'm going to underline it. In this case, I'll just highlight it. So if it's an E as a stem letter / subjunctive vowel, normally that would be second conjugation, but these are all subjunctive. So instead of being second conjugation, it's actually first. So for parem, I'm going to put down first conjugation. And for the meaning, okay, it's first person singular, so it's going to be I. Paro parare is to prepare. But remember, these are subjunctives. So instead of just being I prepare, we're going to assume that it's volitive. So throw in a should. I should prepare. And it's active voice, so we don't need to worry about changing the voice. And we are done. All right, continue working through these through number 12. Like I said, it doesn't matter the file format. Do it in whatever way you see fit, whatever's easiest for you, and upload it to Edsby when done. Thank you.